The less selfish a person is, the happier their life becomes. Have you ever heard this saying? Honestly, in my world, the ones who live truly exhausted are those who live entirely for others. I'm a very simple person. I laugh when I want to laugh. I cry when I want to cry. Whether I laugh or cry, it's all to make myself feel comfortable. I don't care whether the people around me feel comfortable or not. What I say isn't easy to accept, so please remember to read until the end to fully grasp the wisdom of the ancients. Greetings to all of you. You're so selfish. Does this sentence sound familiar? From childhood to adulthood, everyone around us has taught us not to be selfish. In our minds, a seed has been planted that selfishness is bad, that it's a word with a negative meaning. This causes many people to never live true to themselves their entire lives. Many people do everything just so others can see, and many others live just to please others. For example, some people smile and then wonder to themselves, does this smile make others laugh? Is this smile beautiful? Does it violate anything improper? Please, smile for yourself just once. If not, one day when you leave this world, you won't have another chance. There's another saying, die for honor, live in suffering. It's the image of most people. Everyone wants honor, which means living for others, living in the eyes of others. Let me tell you an example. Once when I returned to my hometown, there was a class gathering. We all ate a meal together. We chose a restaurant. At that moment, one classmate immediately took out their phone, called to reserve a spot at the restaurant. The entire process of the call felt like they had a big business connection with the restaurant owner. At that time, many classmates were drawn to them, thinking in their hearts, this classmate has such wide connections. Even picking a random restaurant, they know someone, how impressive. When we arrived at the restaurant, the whole place was empty. Only our table was there eating. Tell me, wasn't that classmate's effort pointless? Honestly, in my world, people like that live so tiringly, completely living for others. I'm a very simple person. I laugh when I want to laugh. I cry when I want to cry. Whether I laugh or cry, it's all to make myself feel comfortable. I don't care whether those around me feel comfortable or not. The highest level of Buddhism speaks of seeing the mind, realizing the nature, which refers to the presence of one's true self. For instance, when you were 1 to 3 years old, you were almost untouched by the surrounding environment. Every action you took came from your own thoughts. That is the presence of your true self. Can you recall a bit how wonderful you were at 3? Fearless of heaven, fearless of earth, feeling like this world belonged to you, that you could do anything. As you grew up, after going through education, after being born into this world, you are no longer the you of before. You became a robot, doing whatever others do, repeating every day, because your selfish nature had faded. Do you know why people fear death? The reason people can't bear to leave this world is because they still cling to things, regrets they hold on to. If someone lives their whole life without any regrets when they depart, they will surely leave with a peaceful mind. If there are still regrets, how can you let go? That's why those who live for others cannot avoid having regrets. Everyone, this life is like a one-way train. In the corridor of life, be a little selfish, live truly well for yourself just once. When you leave, don't leave behind regrets, because the nature of humanity is selfishness. You just need to express it a little more perfectly, that's all. Let me share a story about the evolutionary theory of human selfishness. A poor single mother raising 2 children, one 9 years old, one 8 years old. The 2 children huddled in the house, waiting for their mother in the cold and hunger, holding each other tightly to keep warm. Their mother had been out for an entire day. They missed their mother so much, and even more, they missed the food she would bring back. It had been 2 days since they last ate. That time, their mother brought back 2 pears. The siblings passed the pears back and forth, yielding to each other a few times. In the end, the older brother ate the bigger pear, and the younger brother ate the smaller one. Their mother sat beside them, a smile curling at the corner of her mouth. She always taught the children to yield and help each other, and the children obeyed. Even when they were starving, they didn't fight over the food. Suddenly, the older son handed the pear to his mother and said, "Mom, you take a bite too." The younger son raised his pear as well. The mother's eyes welled up with tears. She said, "My darlings, I'm not hungry. You eat." The two children looked at each other and continued eating, taking bigger bites. Their mother turned away, tears streaming down. She remembered how her own mother always saved the best for her. She recalled everything her mother had done for her. Outside, the cold wind blew, and at that moment, the mother returned. The children stared at the bread in her hand and shouted, "Mom." In this heartwarming story, can you see the selfish nature of humans? Can you see the selfishness of the children when they saw the bread? No matter how they were raised, human nature never changes. The next analysis might be harsh, but it's the truth. Human selfishness comes in two forms, material and spiritual. Material selfishness is people die for money, birds die for food. Spiritual selfishness, you might often hear in the phrase, "You only care about your own feelings." Have you ever thought about mine? Spiritual selfishness is enjoying the inner joy of oneself. From the story above, we can see from the very first moment they saw their mother, the first thing the siblings noticed was the food, because they were truly starving, and their yielding to each other was only due to their mother's teachings and societal morals. Some might say that's survival instinct. When you're hungry, you're not wrong to say that. That only further proves human nature is selfish. Humans are born to be selfish, whether it's human nature or survival instinct. To survive, we will naturally eliminate rivals. Some might say the two children in the story also yielded to each other, even offered the pear to their mother. If their nature is selfish, then through education, hasn't changed? Wrong. The selfish nature of humans cannot be changed. The change is only from low-level selfishness to a higher level of selfishness. Through education, they realized the value of yielding and love. Their actions were just the emotional needs of their inner selves. Doing so made them feel comfortable and happy. That comfort and happiness is the selfishness they wanted to satisfy within. No matter how much you think of others, it's all based on some needs and purposes of your own. It's just the degree of concealment that differs. When someone helps others, aside from doing good for them, they're actually fulfilling their own spiritual need to be a good person. Do you remember this saying? Helping others is the source of joy. That means when you help others, you feel joy. And that joy is the selfishness you receive. Take an example. When you see a leader with a grand vision who is also very kind, always thinking of others, have you ever wondered, why is he so good to others? He's good to others because he hopes these people will repay him in the future, right? You might say, some people do good deeds without leaving their names, without expecting any reward. If you dare say that, I'd ask you, how do you know about these people? For instance, you help someone today, you don't expect any reward from them. But when you help them, you feel very happy inside. And that happiness is your selfishness, the greatest reward for you. Many people believe a parent's love for their children is selfless. As the father of two children, I'll talk about my feelings. My second daughter was born. We cared for her every day without expecting anything in return. But everyone in the family felt immense happiness. Notice that we felt immense happiness. And that happiness is emotional selfishness. When we gave everything to her, loving my daughter wasn't for her feelings but for our own. Of course, this selfish love benefits the children. That there's no need to doubt. Recently, I went through an event that greatly impacted my life. I want to share it so everyone can learn. My friend's son fell ill, not a minor illness, but quite serious. As her friend, I had to visit. When I arrived, my friend was crying nonstop. As their friend, I had to comfort her. I said, no one wants their child like this, but your crying won't solve the problem. Crying too much will harm your body too. I believe your child wouldn't want to see this outcome either. Some believe in the goodness of human nature, Some believe in its evil, but I always believe in the selfish nature of humans. When I saw this mother crying for her child, I felt she had no selfish elements at all. I even doubted whether the theory of human selfishness had some flaws. And then she said something that shocked me. If I say it, it'll surely shock you too. She said, "Old Hal, I understand what you're saying, but when I cry it out, I feel a little better." Everyone, think about this statement. These are her own words. She said, when she cries it out, she feels a little better. She cries to feel better, still with an element of self-interest. Human instinct will automatically make you selfish. Loving your children is real. Making yourself feel better is also real. Making yourself feel better, this phrase, think about it. When you understand this phrase, you've gained a strong ability to control human nature. Of course, selfishness has different levels. It's not just caring about yourself, that's selfishness. Doing good for others, expecting repayment in the future, is also selfishness. I hope you can achieve a higher level of selfishness. Your kindness has been eaten by wolves. Why do I say this? Compassion can never satisfy human desires forever. You've given them all your heart. But when you face difficulties too, just one time your help doesn't meet their expectations, resentment will take root in their hearts. Sun Li, a Chinese actress, once supported an ungrateful person named Xiang Haiqing for 4 years. She learned about a 10th grade boy from the mountains, Xiang Haiqing, through a program. The boy had no money for school, so she supported him. When Xiang Haiqing went to college, he spent money recklessly, skipped classes, dated, and neglected his studies. When Sun Li learned of his behavior, she stopped supporting him. But unexpectedly, Xiang Haiqing turned around, wrote a long post to accuse Sun Li, trying to ruin her reputation. Sun Li was thrust into the center of public backlash. She never imagined the person she helped with all her heart for years would become so ungrateful. Because of this, Sun Li became afraid, no longer daring to easily help others. Now, she shifted to supporting stray cats and dogs. Chinese singer Gong Fei, just a minor 18th-tier singer, didn't earn high fees to help poor students. He performed in hundreds of shows. All the money he earned went to support poor students. He helped 183 students in total and donated over 300 gifts. He and his family live in a 58 square meters house in poverty. In their home, there wasn't a single valuable item. The clothes in their closet, all cheap. Only his white performance outfit had some worth. In 2005, Gong Fei was diagnosed with stomach cancer, needing a large sum for treatment. But those who gained high incomes, thanks to Gong Fei's help, chose silence. Even more infuriating, while he was ill, not one person he helped came to visit him. The only ones who spoke up were students demanding living expenses. Gong Fei replied he had stomach cancer, was being treated in the hospital, and temporarily had no money. The parents' response was, "Even so, when will you earn money? You promised to support my child through college. Now they're only in middle school, and you're abandoning them. Isn't this fraud?" This is the real-life version of the farmer and the snake story. I help you with all my heart, but in the end, you bite me back. Just one refusal. When your kindness can't meet their expectations, the first thing they think of isn't understanding or gratitude, but blame and scolding. English writer William Makepeace Thackeray said, "If someone, after receiving great kindness, turns their back on the one who helped them to preserve their own dignity, they will surely be more cruel than unrelated strangers." They need to prove the other's guilt, to justify their own heartlessness and meaninglessness. The pettiness of human nature often exceeds your imagination. You feed a dog for 3 days, the dog remembers you for 3 years. You're good to someone for 3 years, they forget you in 3 days. You give a beggar 10 coins every day. One day, you give only 1, they'll curse you behind your back. You give a beggar 1 coin every day. One day you suddenly give 10. They'll be endlessly grateful, wanting to thank your 8 generations of ancestors. Human nature is often 100 minus 1 equals 0, 0 plus 0.1 equals 100. Understand this formula, and you'll understand human nature. Helping others is joy, but not everyone deserves help. Save people in distress, not the poor. Those with poor souls will surely betray your kindness. In the end, it chills your heart. Kindness isn't wrong, but helping the wrong person, that's the big mistake. Unlimited kindness won't earn gratitude, only resentment in return. This is the trap of the overly kind. You're a good person. This is a phrase many chase their whole lives. Today, this highest praise has become a merciless judgment on the weak. When you're forced to wear the good person hat, you'll bear a burden you don't want. You become the backup in love, the mediator in friendships, the screw that never advances in work. You feel unfair. You say you'll become bad from now on, but you speak harsh words with a timid heart. You don't dare betray the values you've built since childhood. You don't even know how to become bad. You see yourself as good, but don't get the results you want. You want to be bad, but find everyone around you recoils at your attitude. You don't know where the problem lies from start to finish. Many students ask me, bullied by others, working hard but earning no money, cheated by a spouse and left penniless, and more issues. They ask me for a peaceful solution to the world. I want to say a problem happens from years of build-up. It's not something a single method can solve. I think you should pay the price for past foolishness. If foolishness didn't require a price, if one method could fix it, wouldn't that be an insult to us who read books a lot, typing tens of thousands of words daily? Someone who's lived in a sewer for 20 years, how can they turn stench into fragrance? It's not something a method can change, because the stench has seeped into their bones. To change requires two factors. First, a vat of perfume, meaning finding the right mindset. Second, the factor of time. A 20-year stench needs at least 2 or 3 years to change. How useless must someone be to be praised for morality? Not talking about famous figures with lofty virtues. Speaking realistically, you'll sadly discover truth. Usually, when we praise someone's morality, it shows they truly have nothing else worth praising in other areas. Think carefully about the outstanding people around you. Your first reaction is that this person's so handsome, so beautiful. This person has high EQ, smart, cunning. This person's too intelligent. But if I suddenly mention a friend of yours who's unremarkable, you'll surely say, I think they're pretty nice. So stop deceiving yourself. Don't think when others say you have good character, it's something to be proud of. When you have no strengths, others can mention about you. They don't know how to praise you. They can only say you're a moral person. You need to think, do you want benefits or do you want fame? When you want to be a good person, you need mental preparation. You can only gain fame, not benefits. Because a good person must maintain appearances, no moderation. Being good, you need a beautiful image. But you must understand, if you don't act, someone else will. You maintain appearances, you're shy. There's always someone ready to approach the girl you liked at first sight. You're picky, your ego's high. You can't lower yourself. Then there's always someone willing to chat with her all night. You don't take initiative, you don't dare try. Next time, the man beside her will hold her hand. In your career, many honest people get their promotion chances snatched by those who love to stand out. You must know that opportunity was originally yours. I once worked at a company with an employee. He'd been there over 10 years, always praised by the boss, as hardworking, a moral example for the company. The frustrating thing is, others didn't hesitate to climb up, while my colleague stayed in the same position with the same salary. His greatest achievement was only earning the reputation of a good person without a shred of benefit. Successful people will always tell you, when working, you must be polite, know your place, be reasonable, and yield. That's because only the successful write history, and they don't want you to be the next success. So, don't become a timid, cowardly person brainwashed by the rich, turned into a good person who doesn't dare fight for what they deserve. Not being good doesn't mean you must rob, kill, or set fires. It doesn't mean you must do outrageous, unreasonable things to prove you're not a docile lamb, brutally beaten. I want to tell you The good person role you've played in the past isn't good in the literal sense, but just a term for those who are incompetent, weak, and cowardly. A truly good person has principles, moderation, boundaries. In real life, some live so bitterly, so arduously, because they want to be the perfect good person in others' eyes, always putting others' needs first, forgetting their own feelings, freely pushing themselves into hardship just to please others. Such good people we often call people-pleasing syndrome. These people have two misconceptions. The first misconception: I'm good to others, they'll be good to me. As long as I'm good to them, they should be good to me. If not, it means I haven't done enough. These people, when they give, inwardly expect something back from others. Once this expectation isn't met, they think they haven't done enough and set higher demand for themselves. And of course, expect more from others too. When you give to someone, don't expect them to return it. For example, I give someone a pear, I don't expect them to give me one back. For example, I value a talent, give them 10% shares, I don't expect them to treat me well. I invest in their ability to create value for the company far beyond the shares I gave. If one day I'm disappointed, I won't have any complaints. I just see it as a failed investment. Business always has wins and losses. Having no expectations of human nature, this is key. The second misconception: only by constantly giving can you maintain good relationships. It's true, to maintain good relationships, a certain level of patience, tolerance, and giving is needed. But giving blindly, endlessly, not only won't make your relationships with others better, it might even destroy them. Why say that? When you give without expecting return, you create a kind of emotional blackmail on others and strip them of the chance to reciprocate. In any healthy relationship, there's no one-sided giver. So, give others a chance to return your kindness at the right time or proactively ask for their help. This will make your relationship with them stronger.